Welcome to a phenomenal episode based on the wealth theory. When I talk about wealth, I always mean WHEALTH, putting an H inside the wealth. Then only the wealth gets complete. In fact, this is something which is based on the biohacking science. And today I got an amazing personality with me. Maybe in this region, when I say region, I'm talking about the Middle East. There are few people who can be called as real biohacking scientists. When I say biohacking scientist, means who applies biohacking with the science. And I came across this gentleman about a few months back, and I was totally amazed because his perspective about biohacking itself is completely different. I've got today with me Dr. Elie, who has been in this region and propagating and also evangelizing biohacking, longevity, and human performance. Welcome, Dr. Elie, to this show.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
And I'm very keen to know that, in this region where I have come across many people who are into fitness, who are into wellness, but I haven't come across many who are so specialized in this field of human longevity. What made you to come into this or focus on the space of human longevity?
If for most of us, like just for most people, it's a personal reason. And the personal reason being, I have been very active most of my life. I ran many marathons, climbed many mountains, done all sorts of things that are extreme for some people. But as you age, you reach a point where you think, how can I continue that streak? How can I continue doing what I love and do it well without sustaining any serious injuries or taking so long to recover? And then from one rabbit hole to another, during my own life, in the last 15 to 20 years, working on my own self without realizing that I'm actually biohacking my biology, it became an obsession. And I immediately realized that when you're biohacking, even you're biohacking your own biology, it cannot help but also extend to everyone around you. So when you change your habits, when you work out more, when you pay attention to your sleep, et cetera, all the different aspects of lifestyle of a biohacker or someone who's looking at their biology properly and in a 360 manner, your kids get affected, your family get affected, your friends, your neighbors. It's an extension. It's a lifestyle that affects other people.
They all get inspired. Even I think looking at the person, the others get inspired.
Exactly. And then the changes that you make, and because they see that it works, people want to experience it themselves. And the nice thing about one of the many beautiful things about biohacking for me is that when you think of biohacking, immediately people think of technology, this little toy that does this. And,
inserts and chips and all this
stuff like that, right? But it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
There's so many aspects of biohacking that lives in the past, that is part of the wisdom of the ages.
Yeah.
It's stuff that our grandmothers and grandfathers and ancestors have passed on to us that we've forgotten, that we don't apply or we didn't pay attention to.
True.
Anything from the type of food that you eat if something is wrong with you, the kind of herb that you would do. And this is all, part of the journey that you do to yourself. And it's a wealth of information that for millennia people have gathered. And people think, no, biohacking is getting the latest red light panel. Or it's not just that. That's one tiny aspect of it. It's the big thing. And then the beautiful thing also, as an extension of that, it's also about the future. Because if you are healthier now, if you can impact people around you to be healthier, you're impacting their future and their future's descendants.
Generations.
Yeah. Because if you can impact the DNA, that the epigenome can then switch on certain genes that are more relevant for what's coming next.
True.
So I love the stretch, the spread, the reach of what you can do with a proper biohacking approach. And at the end of the day, it's just science.
I can very well resonate with what you're saying, because though I have been in the wellness space for almost more than 2 decades, basically in the nutritional supplementation, wellness clinic space, It was when I started realizing that I'm nearing my 50s. I wanted to perform at peak levels. After, in my post 50s, that's the time I started looking at, how can I hack my biology? How can I take control of my mind? I think it is true that, anybody who has really taken control of their own biology, they have their own story, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think it has to come from somewhere. With adversity, with any sort of realization that there are limits to yourself, imminent limits. That's another point that I'm trying to advocate right now, is that if you look at your biology, there is a cutoff line. If you're looking at, for example, looking at reversing your biological age or living healthier at the age of 60 or 70 is not the same as looking at it when you were at 30s and in your 40s.
Absolutely, yeah.
So for most of these people around me, when they're in their 30s and 40s, they think, oh, I'm okay, there's still time. It's not about that. It's not about time. It has nothing to do with time, actually. It's the sooner you start, the more you pay attention to your environment, inside and outside, all the different aspects that impact you, minor changes. The earlier you start, the greater the impact. So it's not a program that happens to people in their 50s or late 40s or in their 60s. And it's certainly not for people that are in their 80s or 90s. It's really the sooner you start, the sooner you understand. And thankfully, generations now, they're paying a lot more attention to that.
That's true.
At a younger age. But it's not the sense of their mortality yet. It's not there. So the motivation is perhaps a little bit lesser or not as prominent for people as you go on from one decade to another.
That's a very good message, I think, Dr. Lee, because because in the 20s and 30s, most of the people have got that feeling. Even I had the feeling that, okay, it's okay now, it's time to have fun, You have to take care of your body and the biology, maybe in the 40s and 50s, that's the time.
Right.
But it must have already become late, especially in this fast-paced world. I think chances of you getting ruined by yourself is much higher.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would argue to start much, much younger still.
Yeah.
Before your body is fully developed. For our kids, we need to help them with their posture, their spine, their feet, their soles, the way they eat, their style, what they expose themselves to, how much time they spend in the sun. Do they walk barefooted outside to get grounded? Little things like that start the body right as it's being developed, rather than wait to a later age and say, oops, this is what I've done with my life, now I need to reverse that. So it's a journey, not a destination. It's something that you continuously do, and it's not something that you tick a box and you say, I've done that, I can move on now. It's something that, and it's a lot more involved than people think. And call it biohacking, calling anything you want. Biohacking is a term.
It's a good word, good branding.
Exactly. And it's just, people like to say it and throw it around.
More than that, I think it has got a good recall also at this point of time. The moment you're saying what's biohacking? So you have at least a point to conversation, start the conversation.
Exactly. And it summarizes properly the ultimate effect of what you do when you're looking at your biology. You're finding hacks for it. In any sense of that word, be it, as I said, external, be it in your environment, be it mentally, be it in your social circles, be it what you put in your body, be it the supplementation, be it the health of your microbiome, be it the exercises that you do, the sleep, all of that. And it becomes almost like a challenge, each of these things, because people would come to me, I can't sleep. Doesn't matter what I do. I don't sleep well. My sleep is always this, that. And then once you sit with them and you start to work on that so-called mystery, they start thinking, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. These little changes, I could do this, I could do that. And then they start seeing, but again, like most of us, we want solutions and we want them now. They don't realize that something that compounds over years of you abusing your body, eating late, sleeping late, drinking, doing all sorts of toxins in it, sleeping on a mattress that perhaps is not conducive for your type of sleep, not paying attention to the temperature in your room, not calming down before you fall asleep, not paying attention to the blue light and what it does to your mind, circadian rhythm, and so on and so on. And a few things, they sound like a mouthful, but really, once you start getting into them, it's a minor adjustment of thought.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think it's mainly, I have seen that, it's basically making some behavioral changes with a very clear-cut objective, with some very specific objective that, this is the way I want to live my life.
Yeah,
I think that's right. So, we have come across many fitness trainers and fitness experts, but I've always seen that your processes and protocols have always been different. And at Restore Fitness, the kind of things what you do, I've always seen that there is something which is unique. So how do you create that differentiation?
So our difference focuses on muscle health. So what we do is every possible recovery protocol you could think of starts from the mind all the way to the feet. So the soles of your feet are just as important as what is happening on your neural level. So we work across all the different features to make sure that your body is always optimum and prepared and supported to recover well on its own. So we don't do anything invasive, and therefore preparing people to push their bodies a little bit more because their bodies are well equipped to recover well, to bounce back, and they're strong enough for that. So we use all sorts of modalities of that, things that I use myself and I've experienced with for many years. And I've seen the effects on firsthand. That's also one of the things that I advocate always is that it's really important to try on yourself, like see what works for you. If someone else does it, it doesn't mean that it's
I totally agree.
There are these fads, right? Like take magnesium, do this, that. It's all good, and it may be true.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, think of it as science.
Yeah.
Right? So test yourself. Find out what's happening within your body.
Yeah.
See where you're lacking. Supplement only your deficiencies. Work on the things to get your body do what it does best.
Yeah.
There is nothing stronger, better, more intelligent than your body to do the right thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And
all you have to do is support it.
And I think we are living in this at a point of time when everything is measurable, everything is monitorable, and not many people know about it. Like in the sense that right from your sleep, like when you go and consult a doctor, the doctor may be asking you that, how was your sleep? Say that it was okay. Now you don't require to say that. You can actually quantify that. That how was my deep sleep? How was my REM sleep?
Yeah.
So everything is quantifiable. So I think when you are living in a quantified self kind of environment, once you can measure and monitor, I think you can manage most of the things. That is where the concept of do-it-yourself or the concept of biohacking comes into play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a saying for that, just to reinforce what you're saying. If you can measure it, you can biohack it. Right. So because everything is so measurable, you are able to learn the peaks, the troughs, the why, the reactions, this, that. And then you see a pattern, and then you adjust that pattern because you see, for example, that if you had dates at that particular moment, for example, your glucose shot up, but then it went back really down really quickly. What am I doing? Something that I can adjust that to see what would happen to the body to sustain that energy a little bit longer. One of many, many examples. And again, sometimes it sounds as if you're like a scientist in a lab coat sitting behind, like trying to, it's not that. It's looking at patterns as listening to your body.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if it's measurable, if you can measure it, you can biohack it.
That's a good phrase. That is, if it's measurable, you can hack it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in my company, one of the companies I run, in which we have the caption that if it is measurable and monitorable, it can be manageable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything which can be measured and monitored can be managed. So I think the people who are watching this video should understand that now we are living in a world where every aspect of your health is measurable and monitorable.
Absolutely.
It may not be the case, must not have been the case maybe 10 years back. Now we have the IoT devices, we have got the AI tools, we have got the genetic testing, the methylation testing, so many different things by which you can actually, so if it's a matter of choice.
Yes.
It's a matter of choice.
And a prioritization, because we prioritize things that are way below my own priority list. And if anything comes before your health, you're doing something wrong. So if you prioritize, I don't know, work, if you prioritize having fun, if you prioritize rest, comfort, you're not doing yourself any favors. You know, so prioritize health and everything falls into place.
Yeah, I read somewhere that, you know, all the challenges in your life will vanish when your health is in challenge, because then that day onwards you only one challenge.
Exactly. So, and it's the challenge.
That's a challenge. That's a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I just wanted to get some thoughts from you about this region, because you have been working in this region. So how much do you think that in this region, that is especially in the Middle East, there's awareness about biohacking, or you can call it as a self-help or do-it-yourself kind of a hacking your biology model?
Unfortunately, not enough. And I've made it like almost my life mission to educate as much as possible and share my own experiences.
Yeah, you told me in the first meeting itself. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I make it my mission to do that. So, and again, as we spoke at the beginning of the chat, that it's about your environment.
Right.
What you do impacts others. You know, either by inspiration or by imitation or by encouragement or whatever. So people in the Middle East have access. They're able to get the latest stuff. They're able to buy this, to get this, to listen to this.
You mean the equipment and
the
devices?
equipment, the stuff that you can, you know, they can do all sorts of things. But the education is not there. So there is still a lot more comfort towards traditional medicine. If it's broken, give it a medicine, you know, and not find out why it happened.
And
What
people
can
are
I
waiting it to get broken.
instead of, instead of completely avoiding it in the first place.
I think I totally agree, because I also interacted with many people, and I found that many people, unlike India or any other country here, many people who could be from the affluent society has got such advanced devices, smart infrared sonars and the cold plunges and the PEMF at home, but having no clue what to do with that.
It's not just what to do with it, is what does it do exactly? When do I use it? When is it good for me? What time of day?
Why should I do it? Yeah.
Why should they do it? If I'm male or female, is there a difference?
Yeah.
Do we use it at the same time?
Yeah.
Do I use it before exercise, after exercise? Is it at night or in the morning? Like, none of that information is available for people.
Yeah.
And this is, again, what I pride myself in doing, is to make sure that people are as educated as possible about these things.
Yeah. I think you know, you're mentioning about, you know, creating that awareness, and also making people understand that why should they use it, and something like a protocol for, you know, various purposes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what we have seen from our experience in the Biohack Center we run in India. We have created so many different protocols. We don't allow people to come there and sit for 20 minutes in infrared sauna just like that and go.
Yeah.
You know, we have cardiac rehabilitation, you know, protocols. We have got age reversal protocols. So then there you see the results. You know, otherwise you get a good feel. I think our purpose is not to just to give a good feel. Our purpose to give results. That's what I understood that, you know, you are also aiming at.
Yes, I'm aiming, as I said, of educating people holistically to understand that you cannot just fix one aspect. It's a whole system that works together. Just like us as human beings, we're not islands. Without everyone else, without where we live and how we interact, we are one body.
The entire ecosystem has to come together.
Exactly. So the ecosystem within our bodies works in the same way. One thing affects another, and it's really important to understand that and address all of it.
I think that's, you know, whenever we discuss about the World Biohack Summit, I think that's a purpose we are trying to, you know, fulfill here in this market, where we are trying to create that kind of an ecosystem, and also bringing together different pieces and providing education awareness to people that they can hack their own biology. Yeah, so I'm sure that, you know, when we started our discussion about the World Biohack Summit, we are so super thrilled that, you know, you decided to be part of the core team of World Biohack Summit. So you must have definitely seen something that this summit can make an impact in this region. That must have been the reason why you decided that, I'm going to work for this summit, the success of the summit. So what is the kind of impact you expect from the summit to happen?
Absolutely. And it's not just that. I mean, I definitely saw what the potential is, and it's so needed for the region. But I've also seen it abroad. I've seen it in other biohacking summits that are outside in European or the US, not necessarily biohacking, but health summits. And I've seen the impact that it has on people that attend.
Yeah, in that region.
So to be able to do that here, to what I consider almost the center of the world, to be in this part of the world, the Middle East, Africa, India environment, and say, right, this is accessible, this is here now. These are people that speak for us, to us. They know our gene pool. They understand where we come from. We understand what sort of food we eat. We understand what kind of values we have, what kind of traditions and cultures we have. And then we're going to introduce and weave biohacking with that. And not just someone that comes from a completely different culture and comes in and says, 90% of Americans do this. How does that apply to me?
True.
So that's really what is exciting me about this, and many other things. Obviously, the amazing speakers that we were able to gather, and the potential of it. And I think it's still at the infancy. I think it has a massive legs moving forward. It's going to be doing so well in the years to come.
Yeah.
And I think it will have much greater reach also. If we're able to change one person's life drastically into the best or for the better, I think that is just amazing by itself. But I suspect that we're going to be changing many people's lives.
Absolutely. There is no doubt about it. And as we decided that the core theme of this summit would be the human performance optimization. And I always propagate a message, across, or evangelize a message that, anyone can restart their life at 60.
Yeah.
You don't require to wait till you become 60 to restart. But still, I'm saying that because I've seen many people thinking that by 50, 60, it's all over. It kind of, now it's going to be, fading out. But it doesn't require to be fading out. It can be more focused.
So, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, you're able, if you start younger, you're able to do more.
Exactly.
But it doesn't mean that it's ever too late. Like even the smallest of things can make a massive difference. And there are myths that we've grown up with. That at a certain age, you're not able to grow muscles anymore. And you can't do this and you can't do that. And we're finding out really quickly through science that that's not true. It doesn't matter what age you're in, you could still strengthen yourself. There are certain things you could do. There are the mental approach, even like your mentality. If you change your thought process, you're able to do so much more. If you value community, the people around you, if you're close to your family, all of that actually hacks your well-being too. So there is no age limit for someone to live healthy.
I think, some of the most exciting things we'll keep for the summit, to expose to the people. I'm sure that, this summit is going to be a breakthrough for this region and a breakthrough for many people's lives. And that's why we have joined hands and making it happen this time. So that was Dr. Elie. And I thank you for the time you have shared with us, and also the kind of experiences what you had gone through in this region, and the kind of biohacking perspectives what you have, which attracted me towards you. So thank you so much for joining this podcast.
I appreciate it. I'm super excited. Thank you for having me.
So see you there on the World Biohack Summit.
Absolutely. Can't
guys,
wait.
I think don't miss this. I think Dr. Elie is going to be there on the stage talking about some very, very exciting things, especially how muscle becomes your longevity organ. And that's going to be amazing. So see you there.